Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Tuesday. Getting to the end of March. How is everybody doing? Remember, we'll probably get some window dressing towards the end of the week, so just don't forget about that. Oh, March almost over. The first quarter almost over completely. How is everyone doing? Good morning, Donald. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Royal Palms. Thank you for those kind words. I try to be here for everybody just to help how I can and help people learn the markets and give some of my limited insight. PMG, good. I'll take a God morning too. We'll take good morning and God morning. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Anissa. Good morning, Connor. Good morning, Ted. Thank you very much, Patrick. Again, those are very kind words from Royal Palms. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, George. All right, we got everybody who's wanted to say hi. We got a bunch of people still on the live stream. Good morning, Heinrich. Let's get some more likes going. Come on, let's get some likes going, everyone. Or fine if you want to dislike it, but don't sit on the fence. Okay, we had retail inventories and wholesale inventories both climbing this morning. Very minor, very minor. We had Red Book, again, very minor. We just had the home prices month over month dipping, but a year over year still up, but below forecast. So the only other things, we got consumer confidence at 30 minutes after the cash open and Barr's testimony today and tomorrow. We got the regional Fed indices, service and manufacturing for Richmond, which are actually services is supposed to bounce out of contraction. Last month in contraction, this month supposed to bounce out. So I'm going to be watching that. Although it's not really going to make a major impact on the market. Remember, PCE is Friday, end of month is Friday. It's all backloaded. Why does end of month matter? Well, it matters end of quarter, and you have a lot of strategic rebalancing, especially on the quarterly. Now, between Thursday and Friday, you will get stuff, and then the following Monday, you'll get, again, repositioning for the next quarter. Then we have the Dallas services, which is forecast to be in major contraction. So I am going to be watching this one too. Again, these are minor numbers, but I think it's important to still track from just a macro perspective to see how these regional indices, both in manufacturing and services, are doing with the recession, soft landing, blah, blah, blah calls. I mean, we're still going towards a recession from what I think, but like that really matters. So far, we got some mega caps, slight pullback. Nothing terribly positive. We got some mixed stuff in healthcare. Very, very quiet. Groups, consumer cyclical leading the charge higher. That always gives me a little pause. And then comm services, a bounce back from yesterday. But you see, other than that, not much going on. Fed watch, roughly 60-40. 60 for the pause. Fear and greed still in fear mode. Looking at the gamma flip area is 4024. We're at 4,000. So just slightly in negative gamma territory. If you get some sell off though, you can still accelerate because the hedging will go with the move. So the hedging will go down to the upside. It starts getting limited from the dealers buying into the rally above 40.24 because then they have to sell into the rally. We're trading right at the major gamma wall and no other gamma wall has appeared yet. There's some minor at 4,100, some minor at 39.50 now. If it starts accelerating much below 39.50 and then really gets below 3,900, you can have a fair amount of put delta and continuing gamma kicking in because you get the gamma kicking in from 39.50 and 3,900. But that's going to take a lot going into end of quarter and PCE. I didn't even look. I was focused on some other stuff. I did not look at Walgreen boots this morning. Sorry about that. Lululemon and Micron are sort of biggies after the close. Micron will somewhat set the tone for, again, chips. And so we'll have to keep an eye on other stuff like NVIDIA, AMD, and Lululemon, the high-end luxury athletic wear, to see if that is at least slowing down at all from the higher end. That's why I watch Williams-Sonoma, Lululemon, although Lululemon is even bigger. So that's what I'll be paying attention to after the close. Who else? Elliott wave lining up with harmonics on SPX. Again, I'm still expecting a push higher, but I mean, we finished a pretty nice 5-wave countdown now. We've got some corrective. This looks like it's going to remain in a corrective pattern, even if it just ekes out a little new high. So I'm just keeping an eye on it at this point, although we've got a whole bunch of nowhere. A whole bunch of nowhere. Still sitting at this flat 200 inside day from yesterday. Guess what? Yesterday's, let me go back to that daily real quick. Yesterday's lows, we start breaking below that. And you can use your minor levels. But, you know, it's just gets, when you start getting harmonics this tight, you just got to be a little careful. Now, this one's not bad. This 39.73 to about 39.72 on the 62.5. So we start really breaking down from this 39.95, 39.96 area into a clear path move. 39.85, 39.73. And then, you know, this is where it gives you a breakup of the clear path on the 4 hour. You can look at the 1 hour and you still have a clear path move down to 39.59. So the major levels are down at this 39.59, 39.60. We start getting below there, it does get a little interesting, but remember 39.50 would be key. I would just be a little careful not getting chopped up in here. Because again, a whole bunch of nowhere, a whole bunch of reversals so far. Now to the upside, if we sit with a normal distribution range and sort of test both sides, you know, and we dip below yesterday's low, but then reverse, then I'll be watching for the earlier market highs. Look, you got Europe. Here's the European session open. Here's the European session open. So I'll be watching for those retests of the highs and then roughly 40.28, 40.30 area. Because you see, remember yesterday, chop back and forth. We're breaking below that chop into a clear path move, but we still have a little key support just below here. Not fantastic setups right now. Sometimes no trade is the best trade. NASDAQ, daily cycles getting to the bottom. Weekly cycles, just a reminder, still turning up to the top. Now, if this, once we get to top again on daily and weekly, then I'm really going to be watching for a rollover play. Right now, it's mixed cycles. And you can see it's sort of this push-pull. NASDAQ, major support, 12.7. Well, this is, I mean, I'm sorry for the boring live stream, but I don't know what to say. So I'm going to be watching down here, 12.7, 12.705, 12.7 to about 12.725 for a key support and a potential bounce. Key resistance, I mean, you can use the European session areas, but it's really above 12.8, 12.815 to about 12.835 is your key resistance. You see the sell-off. Above that, if it does get that bounce on, to try out the other side, my first area I'd be watching is 12.870. Boring. And I will be watching the internals also in case we tried it, because internals, in days like these, I am very aware of potential fake out and reversal moves. So I have to have confirming market internals. The easiest one to look for is the tick. And the tick for real momentum for the downside has to be at least tapping that -1,000. To the upside has to be tapping that +1,000. Otherwise, you know, if it's just if we're breaking down with minus 600 ticks, we can get sharp reversals. If we're breaking up with positive 600 ticks, we can get sharp reversals. So just be cognizant of this. Some days the best times are just the longer profile trades. Dow, again, whole bunch of nowhere. Key support in the Dow, 32,480 to 32,5. We drop below it, it's 32,3. Above, I'm watching yesterday's and today's pre-market high, so European session highs, and then roughly it's slamming into the 200, 32.8 to 32.833. Russell, look, I mean, look, we're virtually trading where we closed at mid-March, Monday the 13th. We're trading at the same level. A whole bunch of nowhere, a little up, a little down, and a whole bunch of nowhere. But key support about the 1740 to 1745 area. Resistance, it has to really break above 1778, and then it goes into another resistance zone between 1785 and 1796. Good morning, Laura. I put up some videos. Go search for Gamma on the channel, Richard. I put up some stuff outlining deltas and gammas. Good day, Christoph. So take a look at that. I did sort of an explanation. It was a while ago. I think it's on Mike's Crazy Classroom. You can also search for Mike's Crazy Classroom. That's crazy with a K, because I am a little crazy. All right. All right. What do we have here? VIX, nothing. I mean, yeah, it's a little pop-up, but unless it really starts accelerating above 22, again, it's not showing a lot of fear. First thing is about 2150 even to the upside. We're not even there yet. So nothing. DAX, is this a potential double top? No, it's just a multi-top in an area because it's not reversing enough move. So even this is a whole bunch of mess. I'm just going to skid. There's nothing in that. Notes still as a potential longer term setup, but really nothing. We closed yesterday in the rotation zone. Still watching. If we do break below the day's low, the major target area is this 114.05. To the upside, it'd be a return to 115.08, but not much. The double bottom is still in place. I should say potential double bottom, not confirmed or triggered yet on the yield for the 10-year and also the 2-year. Those have not been invalidated yet. The 10-2s yield curve holding the rotation zone so far, but nothing. Dollar index. Dollar index. So we return to the rotation zone, rotating back down, watching to see if we get a double bottom setup in here. Not necessarily today, but I'm watching for the pullback back below about 101.87 to set up a potential double. Other than that, this is running out of momentum. Now, daily cycles are getting back to the top, so I am keeping an eye. So it's been fighting these daily cycles, but there's just, again, not a lot of great setups there either. Crude coming up, hitting the key levels. We had the harmonic and a breakdown zone right in the same area, and now we have this little mini pausing area. You see right here. Oops. Let me take off the right set since we hit the harmonics. If we start breaking with momentum above about 73.50, the next target area is 75.25. Other than that, support coming in at 71.50. Other than that, cycles at the top and not much going on. Sounds like a key theme. Natty Gas still trading at key support. Nothing going on. I see you wanted to look at oil. Hey, Options 22. Thank you for the good morning. Gold. Nothing. Still roughly clinging to the rotation zone. The only thing is if we triggered a double from a trailing perspective. Other than that, I mean, if we break above today's pre-established high, it's about 1975 to 1985 are the key targets. Nothing in silver so far, sideways correction. Let's just take a look at the yen. Still, I'm going to be watching for another potential mini double unless we really break down below 129.80. We break below that, I'm focusing on the retest of the lows from early February. Euro, boy, 108.75 is the key level I'm watching to the upside. Pound, we do have this mini daily double top, but nowhere near triggering yet. If we do, and by the way, we could still target 127.72 without invalidating this, but much above that does invalidate it. So I'll be watching for that. But other than that, there's no front run or short patterns. So not even good front run patterns. Bitcoin still holding key level. Momentum below 26,675. If we start getting momentum below that, the target is back to about 24.9. Tesla, sideways. Anybody see a theme here? Oh, slight gap up, but not much. Really has to, for any breakout, has to get above. Early is about 199.50, but then you get 200 again is major. Then you got about 205 and a gap fill back at 202.77. Breakdown, sloppy potential double, but 187.15 has to get a key close below that. And that's only a pullback to this other consolidation area. You know, roughly around 177. What is Boyle? I don't look at Boyle. Boyle. Oh, the Bloomberg. Is this another ultra? I just do not like the ultras. They just bleed out. I mean, you need to bounce to get on a natty gas. Otherwise, this thing will just keep bleeding. So unless something really gets going, and this is not the season for strong natty gas. So I'd be real careful to the long side. But I do not like shorting these ultras down here. It would need a bounce first before looking for anything on the short side. You're welcome, Heinrich. Hey, Sterling, thank you for being here. First it's NVIDIA, then a good morning. So, NVIDIA. Again, you've got a sideways. Look, we're virtually at the same closing area. I'm still watching for the topping thing, but is there a fantastic topping pattern yet? No. We're just trading slightly above the close from last Wednesday. So far, sideways correction with a rising rotation zone. And you got Micron reporting after. Major support still at 260. If we start getting a close or momentum below 260, I'll be watching for a short-term bigger pullback, then a more secondary bounce, and then a rollover play. All right. EEM, a retrace the rotation zone and a short signal. Well, the rotation zone on the daily is flat, so we ignore it. It's roughly flat on the weekly. My key short area on this would be below this 36.85 level. Right in here. Right in here. Why? That's below 62.5, and then you get a confirming close. We could see that bigger short. Other than that, we have a bunch of no man's land. You see here, it's just, this is a daily. The early warning breakdown, you know, back below about 38. Breakout above about 39.20. Other than that, unless you're trading something super short term, we're caught in a huge range. So I'd be waiting. A lot of these things I've learned a long time ago in my career to not, there's times when there's just not great setups. I mean, unless you're micro scalping, there's just more times to wait for something. Now, it doesn't mean that something we can't get a momentum move. Doesn't mean something can't kick in. But look, things are backloaded this week. So unless I get confirming information with either a breakout or a breakdown play. And when I'm talking about the tick, when I want to see repeated moves, for example, this is an example on a 5-minute chart. Now look at the 5 minutes on the tick. See, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. That's the kind of stuff I just want to see for, all right, a confirming bullish move. And you see how the bearish tips didn't pull back to minus 1,000? All right. So now I'm going to combine that with some momentum or breaks above key levels. If it's sitting between levels and we're just ping-ponging back like it did at the end of the day yesterday, see how it's ping-ponging back and you're not breaking out or breaking down majorly? Nothing. So that's why I'm really watching for the breakouts or the breakdowns. Otherwise, just as yesterday was, it was caught. Yeah, you get your short-term moves. So if you're trading very short-term, you know, you can trade stuff. Going into the open, I mean, we might be making a potential double, but it's got to get above 4,003, and then my micro targets would be 4,007. Support, going into the open, remember right just below here, if you're looking at the micro stuff, you got a pretty hefty support window at about 395 to about 391. You start breaking below that, you're into more of this clear path move. So that's fine tuning it on the micro level. You're thinking of a long for natty gas, I'd at least wait for something, some kind of confirming price action from the futures. The 2-year, yeah, it's just I'm a little cautious with that. Still focusing on some upwards pressure with this. It did close above the 62.5, already hit the 75. You're against the rotation zone, 413. Other than that, we can chop back and forth in this area. Things are still trying to work out on here. So yes, technically we should still see some upwards price actions, just not necessarily today, but the bigger trade is for me if we really break out in yields. Not expecting it yet, but we shall see. Is Kramer saying the back? Well, there's your bullish sign right there. All right. I'm going to wrap it up. We can look at some more things potentially after the close. Hopefully Bob will be on today and to help make sense of some of these markets. With that, everyone have a safe trading day. Don't do anything silly if you do. Oh, what did I skip? The spiders and the... because they're in a choppy mess too. So sorry about that. Anything to the upside, 396.49 is first key target, then 398.87. To the downside, we have, I'm still just using the harmonic levels, 394.24 and then major 391.63. To fine tune stuff, I mean, we had the gap fill already. You start getting momentum below yesterday's close again. You know, your key support is at 391.70 to about 392.40. Does this a little mini double? Yes, you can watch for this little mini double, but it would need at least a 1 hour close below 395.56. On the Qs, again, a whole bunch of key support coming in at 307.14, which is the rotation zone, and the lows from last Thursday and Friday. Below that, about 305.95. And then you're running into 304.30. To the upside, besides the gap fill, which would take us to 308.70, you have major resistance though before that. So 308, about 308 to 308.70 is major resistance. And then we're looking at about 310.50 to 310.60. Oh well. Oh well. You're welcome. Anissa, you're welcome. Well, I don't listen to what most people say. If there's momentum in the futures, then you can look to that. Otherwise, I'd be careful. All right. I'll talk to everyone after the close. Bye for now.